Hello! I have recently finished removing all the bedrock in my perimeter in my survival world, and one of the first things I built in here was this slime farm. Well, this is a prototype, but I have now improved it, and I want to show you how to make a very decent slime farm that is just using one chunk and it's at the bottom of the world. So as you can see, there is a roof above here, but for the slime farm I have made a hole, so the height map is perfect for making the slimes spawn at maximum speed at Y level -64 here. So let's go into creative and let's see how this one works. And I'll be honest, this might not be the most significant need that people have to have a single chunk slime farm after they have voided an entire perimeter. This can also be built higher up, so on top of normal bedrock, but the rates will be slightly lower. But it should work the same regardless of how you build it. This one has some design considerations because we can't place any blocks below here. If I just try, there is nothing happens. I can place blocks here, but not here. So it needs to be perfectly flat. So for optimum spawning rates, you don't want to have any solid blocks at the foot level of where the slimes would spawn, even on the sides, because we're optimizing for pack spawning as well. So this farm is designed with that in mind, of course. To begin with, this farm has an on and off switch. This is an idea I saw in a video. I'm pretty sure it was in the Psycraft Blitz. They used this method for flooding their slime farm, which was also at Y level Y level 0, because that was in 117, it wasn't in 118. And these are just dispensers with water buckets, and we have the observers like this to turn the water on and off. And both the observers and the dispensers are spawnable. And if we just send in a signal into the farm, that will suck the water out, allow the slimes to spawn, and at the same time we will also enable the dropper clocks that are shooting out the loot on the sides here. It should be pretty obvious that we cannot have a comparator on the droppers, so we cannot have a classic dropper that shoots out everything that comes into it, because, well, there is nowhere to place the comparator. So instead we have the clocks permanently turned on. And the slime balls come out here into a water stream, and you can do pretty much whatever you want here. I only have hopper counters from the carpet mod here to count the loot, but you can have a bubble column to get the slime balls wherever you want. And just a small note here, this iron bar is not strictly necessary. We can see what happens if we don't have it. The slime balls just bounce around, but they eventually settle in the middle and end up in this water stream. But just to speed that process up a little bit, we can have that iron bar. Not all the slime balls will be caught by the iron bar. Some of them will shoot past, and just when I'm saying this, I can't see a single one where this is happening, but sometimes it does happen. Doesn't really matter. No big deal. It's just a microscopic improvement. So the slimes spawn in the spawning area. We can see here, this is the entire slime chunk in the middle here. It is lit up with the sea lantern so that nothing else spawns. Of course, the slime farms aggro on the golems and jump up on the soul campfires and burn to death. We have 3 rows of hoppers here to pick up the slime balls, because the slime balls just shoot in all kinds of directions when the slimes burn up. You probably need 1 more layer of hoppers like this, because some of the slime balls end up here, but it's very rare, so I didn't bother doing that. But if you want to definitely catch every single slime ball, you might want to move the golems 1 block back and add another layer of hoppers. But that's just tons of more hoppers for not much more gain, so I didn't bother doing that. And it should be pretty obvious what's happening here. We have observer lines here to power everything. That should be pretty clear what they're doing. We have a sticky piston to turn on and off the clock, which we have the same clock on both sides. Golems here that attract the slimes, and soul campfires. You can use normal campfires if you want to, but soul campfires kill the slimes faster, so it's just better. The sea lanterns on top of the golems here, they need to be some kind of full block. Don't have to be sea lanterns, you could just use glass here instead. But they are pretty important because the golems are punching slimes up and the slimes can fly. If you just have one line of sea lanterns, there will be slimes landing in this area here and sometimes on top of the sea lanterns. It should be relatively safe for the golems when that happens. But if you don't have any sea lanterns, the big slimes will end up on the golem and kill the golem eventually. So it's best to have two lines of sea lanterns here. That way the golems will not punch the slimes over the top here. Or at least in the 100 hours of testing, I have not seen a single slime end up here, which means that this is working. With just one line of sea lanterns, or maybe sea lanterns like this, you will end up with slimes on this side. Same thing, if you put fences here, slimes can land on top of the edges right here, and if you put fences on both layers here, you can end up with slimes punching the golem, and the golems will die. So this is the safest setup for the safety of the golems. Now, as you can see, it is a relatively simple farm, so let's talk about rates. In my testing that I've done over 100 hours, this achieves 19,500 slime balls per hour, which is actually pretty good. People have shown me a video that Ilmango did a while ago about a similar concept farm, also for, well, Y level 0 at that time. And in his video description, he says 30,000 slime balls per hour, but I was not able to verify that farm because it seems to have broken since the version that he designed it in. In his farm, the small slimes are not tracking the golems at all, and they just stand in the middle of the farm and despawn. So I don't know if this is achieving perfectly good rates. I haven't seen other farms designed for this specific use case. So I'm gonna claim that 19,500 slime balls per hour is pretty good. Until proven otherwise, of course. And one note about the rates, when you're testing this, make sure that your local difficulty... Oh, my local difficulty has dropped to 1/2. Your local difficulty... I wonder why. That's strange. When I was... Oh, never mind. It is 1 here. It is worse here. Interesting. I don't know how that exactly works, but your local difficulty needs to be 1 for maximum rates, because that decides the ratio between how many small slimes spawn versus how many big slimes spawn. The local difficulty goes up the longer time you have stayed in a chunk, and I think it reaches maximum in around 3 days. So if you AFK the farm for 3 days, it will reach maximum rates. So that's something to watch out for when you're testing this and want to see what the rates are. You need to AFK it for 3 days. Well, probably tick warp it if you want to do the testing. There is also one thing that might be a little bit painful when building this. At least it was for me. Maybe people are good at Minecraft and they don't have issues like that. And it is, how do we place these stupid golems in there? So you have fences like this where the golem is standing. And if you just build the golem like this, that doesn't work. So the way I have figured out is the best is to just build the golem here. Bam. And now it lands inside the fences. That's just pretty much the only non-super trivial thing when building this, but even that is pretty much trivial. Anyway, it should be quite simple and obvious enough what it does. There will be a world download in the description, so you can see exactly where all the blocks are placed. But I'm assuming that this should be fine, and I just actually noticed one thing that will be fixed in the world download. Those need to be hoppers, because the slime balls can't end up on the sides here. There we go, fix the bug. Maybe that raised the rates to 20,000 per hour, but I doubt it. Anyway, check out the world download if you'd like to see exactly the details. Drop by Discord if you want to discuss this or other farms. And if you have any questions, ask them in the comments and I'll answer anything I understand. Was just a very quick showcase. So thanks a lot for watching and have a good slime farming. Bye.